Hey everyone, I'm Kim, and welcome to The Brave Bookshelf, the podcast where we explore the stories that help kids and teens tackle life's toughest topics. If you're a teacher, counselor, librarian, parent, or just someone who believes books can spark big conversations, you're in the right place. Grab a cozy seat, maybe a snack, definitely a book, and let's dig into today's Brave Read. Today's episode is a little different because I am discussing two new releases. One is from Sarah Baily Books, and another is coming out in August of this year, 2026, from Aladdin, and both imprints are of Simon Schuster. But both are inspired by the classic novel Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, but reimagined in very different ways. One is a contemporary YA thriller that asks, what if Beth was murdered instead of dying from complications of scarlet fever? The other is a middle grade fantasy that asks, what if the March sisters were monsters and still deeply human? Let's talk about why one worked for me and why the other honestly didn't quite get there. Retellings or reimaginings of classic novels are tricky, in my opinion, especially when the source material is as beloved as Little Women. Readers come in with emotional expectations about characters, tone, and especially heart. Both of today's books use the same iconic characters: Meg, Jo, Beth, Amy, Marmee, which is their mother, and their father. But what they do with them couldn't be more different. Let's start with Beth Is Dead by Katie Burnett. This book was released on January 6, 2026 of this year. A contemporary YA thriller that places the March family squarely in the spotlight of modern fame and controversy. In this version, the March father is a best-selling novelist who writes Little Women, a fictionalized account of his daughter's lives. The book explodes in popularity and backlash. Critics argue he has no right to tell this story. Threats escalate. He disappears into hiding, leaving Marmee, their mother, and the girls behind. Then Beth dies. Officially, it looks like an accident, but soon it becomes clear she was likely pushed off a bridge or hit in the head, and suddenly everyone, including the sisters themselves, become a suspect. From a thriller standpoint, this book absolutely works. The pacing is tight, the tension is high, the twists are genuinely compelling. The idea of fame, exploitation, and authorship is timely and unsettling. But here's where it didn't land for me. If you love Little Women, this book may be hard to accept. I struggled with the decisions to make the father the author instead of Marmee, a choice that fundamentally reshapes the emotional core of the March family. I also didn't feel that Jo, in particular, was portrayed in a way that honored who she is in Alcott's original. For me, the characterization pulled me out of the story. And that's the frustrating part, because if I had known Little Women, I honestly think I would give this book 5 star. The writing is strong, the suspense is sharp, and the structure works. But because this is a reimagining, those choices matter. I ultimately landed at 3 stars, not because the book lacked skill, but because I couldn't emotionally reconcile this version of the March family with the one I know. And yes, this is especially interesting considering that Hello Sunshine selected Beth Is Dead as the inaugural pick for their Sunny Reads book club for Gen Z readers. And that tells me this book will spark conversations. And maybe that's exactly the point. Now, let's talk about Little Monsters by Mara Roche. This book goes on sale August 18th, 2026. And this one absolutely captured my heart. This is a middle grade supernatural retelling where the March sisters are foster kids with a secret. They're monsters. And I mean that literally. Meg has sharp teeth. Jo grows fur under the full moon. Beth has wings she hides under her sweaters. And Amy sprouts a mermaid tail near water. And somehow, miraculously, it works. What makes Little Monsters shine isn't just the clever concept, it's the compassion. Every character feels like the true March sisters through a fantastical lens. The themes of found family, fear of being discovered, loyalty, and love are deeply aligned with Alcott's original heart. Meg's need to protect her sisters, Jo's restlessness, Beth's gentleness, Amy's longing to be seen. All of it is there. Set near Salem, with a looming threat in the woods and a town on edge, the story balances suspense with warmth. And for middle grade readers especially, it delivers a powerful message about identity, belonging, and being loved exactly as you are. This one is an easy 5 stars for me. What retellings or reimaginings ask of us? These 2 books made me think a lot about what we want from retellings of classic novels like The Little Women. Do we want reinvention, even if it disrupts what we love? Or do we want reinterpretation that preserves the emotional core? There's no single right answer, but for me, Little Monsters honored the soul of Little Women, while Beth Is Dead challenged it. And whether that works may depend entirely on the reader. If you've read or plan to read either of these, I'd love to hear your take. Head over to kimbartosh.com and join the conversation. Until next time, keep reading bravely. Thanks for spending time with me on the Brave Bookshelf. If today's episode helped you or gave you a few new ideas, be sure to follow the show and share it with a fellow book lover or child professional. You can find more Brave reads, discussion guides, and resources at kimbartosh.com. Until next time, keep reading, keep talking, and keep being brave.